In the next 14 minutes, you will not be the same. Unlock the secret architecture of your attention and learn the advanced language tools to articulate your newfound mastery of focus.
Talk English Podcast.
English podcast for learning English.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Fluent Mindset, the podcast where we dive deep into subjects that don't just expand your knowledge, but significantly elevate the nuances of your English language skills. I'm John, your host, and today we're tackling a topic that is becoming increasingly imperative in our hyper-connected world: focus. We're moving past simple time management tips and straight into the cognitive science of sustained attention. We're really here to talk about how to protect your most valuable resource, your mind's capacity to concentrate. I'm thrilled to introduce today's guest, a leading productivity consultant who helps individuals, guitars, and major corporations reclaim their cognitive bandwidth from the digital flood, the brilliant Rachel. Welcome, Rachel.
Thanks for having me, John. It's a privilege. I love what you're doing with this podcast, bridging the gap between deep dive content and language mastery. I think the challenge of focus is the defining struggle of the 21st century.
I couldn't agree more. So, I have to open with this. You study focus for a living, but were you distracted by your phone even once this morning before coming on? Did you fall prey to the endless scroll?
That's a fair question, John, and it highlights the constant battle. The honest answer is no, but only because I preemptively put it on airplane mode and charged it in a different room across the apartment. If I hadn't, I guarantee the temptation would have been pervasive. It's the constant little pings and notifications that slowly but surely erode our ability to concentrate. We're conditioning ourselves to be interrupted.
That rings true for so many of us. That little ping isn't just a notification, it's the gateway to a digital spiral. We open the app for one reason and emerge 20 minutes later having forgotten our original intention. It's the tyranny of the immediate. And before we fully immerse ourselves in today's dichotomy of focus and distraction, I have a quick request for all you dedicated English learners out there. If you find our discussions valuable and want to ensure this kind of high-level content propels our collective learning, please take a moment right now to like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Help us reach a wider audience of advanced learners who are ready to synthesize complex ideas in English. All right, Rachel, let's get down to brass tacks. When people talk about poor productivity, they often blame a lack of time. But you argue the real villain is a lack of focus. Where should we begin to fix this fundamental issue?
We need to reframe the issue entirely. It's not about time management, it's attention management. My philosophy centers around 10 key pillars that allow people to systematically rebuild their focus muscle. The first pillar is acknowledging the conundrum we're in. We carry these powerful computers in our pockets that offer the world, yet they also deliver a constant stream of cognitive load. We aren't designed to process thousands of fleeting inputs a day. The brain fatigues rapidly. We need to initiate a digital detox, not as a rare ceremonial event, but as a daily hygiene practice. It's about limiting the exposure to potential distraction.
So, it's not just the distraction itself, but the massive energy cost of context switching between tasks. You pay a mental tax every time you check that notification.
Precisely. The transition cost is massive. Studies show it takes up to 23 minutes to fully return to a focused state after a distraction. Every switch reduces your ability to do deliberate practice, the kind of sustained, focused work needed to truly master a skill, like achieving advanced English fluency. We're sacrificing depth for breadth. Secondly, we need optimization. We often spend 80% of our energy on tasks that yield only 20% of the result. For an English learner, that 20% might be mindlessly watching a show with subtitles or reviewing basic flashcards. The disproportionate 80% result comes from the hard work of, say, writing a complex 1,000-word essay or engaging in a difficult philosophical debate in English. We must ruthlessly triage our learning tasks and focus on the 20% that moves the needle towards mastery.
That means embracing the hard stuff, the work that genuinely challenges us. It's the uncomfortable work that provides the biggest leap in skill, not the repetition of what we already know. It requires a profound shift in mindset.
The third pillar is deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. This is where real innovation and mastery happens. You enter a state of flow where the work is almost effortless, yet highly challenging. To achieve this, you must develop a set of rituals, specific steps you take before starting the deep work session, to systematically train your brain to expect focus.
That's fascinating. So the brain needs a trigger, a signal that says, okay, now we're serious. For me, that ritual is making a French press coffee and clearing my desk completely, ensuring only the necessary materials are visible.
That is an excellent ritual. It's about minimizing decision fatigue. And this leads us to a great question for our advanced audience, who are clearly dedicated to the process. Question 1. You mentioned rituals. What specific ritual do you employ to smoothly transition your mind into a deep work session? Share your personalized routine, no matter how small or specific, in the comments below. We'd love to see how our listeners tackle this mental transition. Pillar 4 is about giving our prefrontal cortex a necessary rest. This is analog downtime. We constantly fill every microsecond of silence with scrolling or listening. We need periods of complete solitude and silence. Going for a walk without a podcast or a phone, just letting your mind unwind, allows for true thought processing, memory consolidation, and deep recharging. If you never allow yourself to be bored, you never allow yourself to think deeply.
We've become afraid of boredom, and yet, as you say, boredom might just be the quiet, powerful engine of creativity and learning. It's in those quiet moments that new vocabulary truly coalesces in our long-term memory. My fifth point, and this is something you've helped me internalize, is recognizing the difference between being proactive and reactive. It's the classic Eisenhower Matrix, urgent versus important. If everything feels urgent, nothing is. We need to deliberately choose tasks that are important but not urgent, like in-depth grammar review, writing complex persuasive arguments, or seeking out difficult English conversations. It's what differentiates a life of maintenance from a life of unrestricted growth.
That's the essence of the triage concept. You have to be the unyielding gatekeeper of your own attention. Otherwise, the urgent, low-value demands of others will usurp your capacity for high-value personal goals. And speaking of high-value tasks, John, this entire discussion is packed with complex vocabulary and advanced sentence structures, exactly what our advanced listeners need to move to the next level.
That's absolutely right. For those who want to cement these linguistic gains, we've prepared a comprehensive resource. We've created a free PDF guide for this episode. It is absolutely stacked with a glossary of every single advanced word and idiom we are using today, plus in-depth comprehension quizzes and complex grammar practice related to our topic.
You need to synthesize the content, not just listen to it passively. You'll find the link to this essential resource in the description below. Download it, save it, and commit to working through the exercises. This is your chance to elevate your grammar and vocabulary exponentially.
Exactly. And while you're down there getting that PDF, please give us another moment of your time. If you've made it this far, you're clearly a dedicated learner. Hit that like button, share this episode with another advanced learner, and let us know in the comments when you've successfully downloaded the PDF. Your engagement is the catalyst that keeps this high-quality, deep-dive content flowing.
Pillar 7 connects focus directly to mindfulness. When people struggle to concentrate, it's often because of a busy, noisy mind, what I call mental clutter. You don't need to sit in the lotus position for an hour, but taking just 5 minutes to notice the ambient sounds or focusing on your breath can drastically reduce the cognitive noise that makes us feel sedentary in our thinking. It's about creating space between the thought and the reaction.
It's like running a powerful piece of software. You need to close all the unnecessary background processes. You're clearing the RAM of your brain.
Precisely. And this brings up a popular, yet often misunderstood idea that directly conflicts with the notion of deep work. Question 2. Many believe that multitasking is a desirable skill, a sign of efficiency. But is it? Do you consider multitasking a myth that destroys deep work or a necessary skill that can be trained and mastered? Drop your specialized opinion, backing it up with personal experience, in the comment section.
Before we transition into the final pillars, Rachel, we need to address a critical point for our listeners. One of the biggest hurdles for an advanced learner isn't understanding the input. They can listen to us just fine. It's the output, the speaking. This requires a significant shift in focus and confidence. So, for everyone struggling to transition from passive listening to confident, assertive speaking, we have a video that is a mandatory next step in your learning journey. It's titled, Speak About Your Day with Confidence. The skills we're discussing today, focus and discipline, are the very same mental muscles you need to push past the fear of speaking and embrace output. Pause this podcast and head over to watch Speak About Your Day with Confidence when you finish our episode. It's all about taking that deliberate practice from the listening realm into the verbal realm.
Moving on to Pillar 9. We need to see productivity not just as a personal gain, but as a cultural and ethical choice. Are we constantly feeding into a scarcity mindset, always feeling rushed and behind, or are we building a sustainable practice rooted in reality? We must actively resist the cultural pressure to always be busy. True focus allows for more rest, which prevents burnout and makes your efforts significantly more sustainable long-term.
It's about the quality of the work, not the sheer quantity of hours clocked. The person who accomplishes 4 hours of deep work is often far ahead of the person who clocks 10 hours of shallow, fragmented work. We have to learn to prioritize effectiveness over mere activity.
Finally, Pillar 10. Your environment is your focus. People consistently underestimate the power of physical space. Decluttering your desk, controlling the lighting, removing unnecessary visual stimuli. These aren't nice-to-haves. They are prerequisites for deep attention. If your physical space is chaotic and filled with visual noise, your mind will inevitably follow suit. You need to curate your workspace.
We must stop relying solely on willpower, which is a finite resource. We must engineer our environment to make focus the path of least resistance. It's about designing a system that makes the right choice, the focused choice, the default.
Imperative, extremely important or urgent, essential. Example, it is imperative that advanced learners stop translating in their heads and start thinking directly in English. Cognitive bandwidth, the total capacity of your brain to focus, think, and process information. Example, digital noise severely depletes our cognitive bandwidth, leaving little energy for deep work like essay writing. Pervasive, existing in every part of something, widespread. Example, the desire for instant gratification is a pervasive cultural issue that undermines long-term goals. Conundrum, a confusing and difficult problem or question. Example, the conundrum facing modern learners is how to utilize technology without being consumed by it. Erode, to gradually destroy or weaken something. Example, constant context switching will gradually erode your ability to sustain long periods of concentration. Dichotomy, a division or contrast between two things that are entirely different. Example, there is a clear dichotomy between passive learning, listening, and active production, speaking. Triage, the process of prioritizing tasks based on urgency and importance. Example, she learned to triage her emails, dealing only with high-priority tasks during her focused time blocks. Usurp, to take a position of power or importance illegally or by force. Example, we must prevent minor, urgent requests from usurping the time dedicated to our most important long-term projects. Sedentary, characterized by a great deal of sitting, inactive, used here metaphorically. Example, a lack of mental challenge can lead to sedentary thinking, making it harder to tackle complex concepts. Coalesce, to come together and form one mass or whole, to blend. Example, after hours of note-taking, the disparate ideas finally began to coalesce into a single cohesive argument.
Rachel, that was a truly exhaustive tour through the architecture of focus. To summarize, we've talked about moving past simple time management to attention management, recognizing the high cost of digital overload, prioritizing deep work and analog downtime, and engineering our environment to support our most cognitively demanding tasks. And the key takeaway for our listeners, the deeper your focus, the faster your fluency.
It's been a pleasure, John. I hope this gives your listeners the sophisticated tools they need to reclaim their attention and their time.
And to help you anchor these complex concepts into your active vocabulary, let's briefly revisit the core resource. All these advanced terms, plus many more, are included in the free PDF guide for this episode, along with extra grammar exercises to help you synthesize these complex structures. Click the link in the description now and download it. Don't miss this opportunity to cement your learning. Thank you, Rachel. It's been incredibly insightful. And to our listeners, your commitment to high-level content like this is why we continue to produce it. So, if you got value from this conversation,